Did you know that the term marijuana has racist roots? It was first used in the 1930s by the US government as a tool to demonize cannabis and associate it with Mexican culture. Today, some are calling for the word to be canceled. Let us explain. Until the early 20th century, the word marijuana was virtually non-existent in the US. Before then, the plant was referred to as cannabis or hemp. So how did we end up with marijuana? Marijuana was a colloquial word used in Mexico that eventually made its way north. After the Mexican Revolution, a wave of legal immigration from Mexico flowed into the US and racist sentiment against Mexican immigrants began to grow. Because they brought their custom of smoking cannabis with them, hysteria began to spread around Americans' view of the plant. In 1930, when Harry Anslinger, director of the Bureau of Narcotics, began a campaign against cannabis, he started using the word marijuana to play up its association with Mexican culture, further demonizing it in the eyes of the American public. Though he had previously downplayed any notion of danger related to cannabis, he began spreading the falsehood that it's mainly used by Mexicans, blacks, Caribbean immigrants, and other minorities. Anslinger claimed that it made these groups crazy and violent, and that smoking it made white women sexually attracted to dark-skinned men and jazz musicians. And as outrageous as these claims sound, they were repeated in newspapers and magazines throughout the country. This era cemented the notion that marijuana is a dangerous drug in the minds of Americans. It led to a decades-long drug war in which mostly black and brown men were arrested and imprisoned for the non-violent crime of possessing, using, or distributing cannabis. As a result, nearly all cannabis-related legislation in the United States refers to it as marijuana. When American hippie culture appropriated the word in the 1950s and 60s, it became the preferred universal term for the plant. Yet it continued to have the same negative connotations for skeptics. Since then, like any illegal substance, cannabis has been coated with countless slang words.
Smoking pot's illegal.
Let me get a pound of your Swedish cheese.
Bud is kicking in.
So what's the verdict on the term marijuana today? Well, thanks to the increasing awareness of the injustices of cannabis prohibition, state-level legalization, and the adoption of cannabis culture into mainstream culture, there's been a push to leave behind the racistly rooted marijuana and return to the scientific and historical term cannabis. At the end of the day, words matter, and it's time we all get on board.